we go. Let's do it again. Bases, ready, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and stop.
Welcome to Life on Maui. I'm your host, Steve and Freid. My guest for today is well known around Maui. He conducts drum circles, teaches drumming, goes by the name Omar Camera. Welcome to the show, Omar.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
Blessed love.
So you got your start in inner city LA. You're a inner city LA boy. And everything that goes with it, musical household, and this is where your roots started. This is where your musicianship started, with the household. And
exactly. Well, in order to share with my new community, the community of which I came from, I'm from inner city Los Angeles, small town, Southern Cal, called Compton. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a very musical household. My father sang, my mother sang in the choir. My dad would lead songs at the church. My brother and sister both sang in different groups around town. And so even myself, being in bands, a marching band and orchestras through schools, and singing with, my mates, classmates, what we call street corner symphony, where you get a group together and pretend you're the Four Tops or Temptations. We happen to be the Meditations. But we did a lot of Motown type music, junior high school and high school days, and did a few things from there. But that's my upbringing there from Southern California.
I'll put you on the spot here for a second. Sing a little phrase. You pick it.
What about, I had this part in the 9th grade talent show.
Go ahead.
You might recognize it.
Okay.
Every night on my knees I pray. Remember that song?
Of course, absolutely.
Dear Lord, hear my plea. Don't ever let another take her love from me, or I will surely die. Ooh, her love is.
Whoa.
But that's Street Corner Symphony.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man. Soul music.
So you were a minister of music in churches that you were involved with? What was that about?
Well,
and you're actually a minister. You can,
Yeah, well, at around the age 25, 26, I rededicated my life to God, and through a couple of different churches was very strong in the music ministries and choirs and praise team, praise and worship. And through, working with the churches and taking courses and what, I have been ordained as a minister, and twice. And being a music minister is really being in charge or over the choir, the worship team, the musicians, the orchestra, if you have, as well as other visiting singers or bands or people that come in. You kind of produce the event and make sure that things are flowing, and being a producer, I've done some things in Los Angeles as well. From the age of around 18 or 19, a couple of my friends and I, we've always promoted, events, concerts, fashion shows, things like that back in that day. And I've produced quite a bit since. And so being a minister of music is you kind of produce the music of the ministry of your church.
Gotcha. You have 2 sons, so they're in their early 20s.
Yes.
They're both involved in sports.
Yes, they are.
And you have always had a strong feeling of wanting to be involved with youth. Inner city youth, something that you call, there's a word for it.
At risk.
At risk.
Yeah. Myself, when I came up in Compton, I would be considered an at-risk youth, okay?
And that would be?
Someone that has a very close chance of going the wrong direction, because maybe growing up in a single parent home, or maybe growing up in the inner city, or growing up in an area that has a lot of drugs or gangs or, things of this nature. Maybe your parents were not, the best parents, and so that made the children of that household maybe at risk to become a ward of the state or something. And so I work with at-risk children, children who are inner city, or you don't have to be inner city, you could be, in the country and be at risk of, going the right direction. And basically reaching back with a heart, coming from the inner city myself, working with a lot of inner city kids, the universe has blessed me with an opportunity to work with youth, and they listen to me for the most part. We create relationships and rapport. I listen to them more so than speak to them. I really listen, and that's really where the bridge of communication is built. Inner city children, at-risk youth, always have authority figures speaking to them. So as an adult, and you go and you start speaking to them, wanting your respect because you're an adult, that's a turnoff for them, because you look very familiar, which is just another person to tell me what to do. And so a lot of inner city youth don't have the opportunity to engage in good conversation with adults, and so that we can enrich their lives with truths and scripture or passages or enlightenment from a positive perspective. A lot of inner city kids raise themselves. Nowadays you call them latchkey? Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids who kind of take care of themselves. Those kids are at risk because mom and dad doesn't know what's going on when they're away. I mean, we have trust and faith that our children are doing what they're supposed to do, but, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, So as we can go and share more information and listen to them and be able to create rapport with them, because they are our future. We are now the ones in the driver's seats when it was our parents a while back. So that's what I work with, at-risk children, and I love sharing with them and working through music or theater. Even here on Maui, I worked at the Job Corps, and within about 30 days we had a youth choir started, and they gravitate.
And you're involved with Unity as well. Unity
Church, yes. Yeah. I attend Unity Church, and I work with the Keiki program. That's Sherry Eck, very good with children there. And I work with Sherry, and I bring the drums and the other percussion instruments into the Keiki time. And, it's all about heartbeat. And children, and the first beat, the first drum that we all ever heard was our mother's heartbeat. Doom, 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 doom. And so, the drums call to the soul. It's a very sweet remembrance. And drums have been used throughout the ages, ancient times, to communicate, and drum circles to for rites of passage and creating things. But
so that's what you're doing. I mean, this is what you've really brought here to Maui, is Om Zone. Om Zone has to do with you have a drum circle.
Right. Om Zone, the Om Zone Maui, LLC. Well, Om Zone is a company that's created by myself and my partner, Calais Allen. Mm-hmm. And what has happened is that through natural gravitation and flow, the timing has opened up. I just happen to be a conduit, and there's some energy going through right now, and there's some platforms being created, so that what we're doing is we sell African drums and things.
And these are things that you import yourself.
Not things. Tings.
Tings, like they say in Jamaica. Like tings. Actually, there's a drink in Jamaica called ting.
Oh, is that right?
It's a grapefruit drink called ting.
Well, we don't sell the grapefruit, but we got the other things.
It's a good drink, come on.
Yeah, man, I believe you.
Yes, I.
Irie.
So these are tings that you bring in from West Africa. You're going to be taking a trip there soon. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. We're flying into Dakar, which is in Senegal. And then
where is that located in?
That's in West Africa.
Where is it in relation to, say,
it's
Ivory
Coast? It's right on the coast. It's right on the coast and right near. West Africa includes the Ivory Coast, Guinea, Ghana, Mali, Senegal, and a couple of other smaller countries, but right there in that same area. And that's where most of the drums, the djembe drums and jungjungs and apentimans, and that's drumming region, truly.
And you were saying that there's really something about the African drums, that there's almost like a spirit that is imbued in them through the people who make them, that there's something very special about that.
Yes, it is. Because, you know, as the archaeologists have discovered, as well as now the scientific through DNA, that Africa is the motherland. And therefore, even again, that word motherland, heartbeat again, the first beat that you heard. So it's a calling to us. And Africa, being an area that is known for drumming and always has been,
yes.
What happens is these drums are not just manufactured on machines and put out in, you know, stores and music shops. You know, there's drum villages. You know, there's drum makers that raise their children to be drum makers. There's, you know, they have acres of drums.
Acres of drums. Amazing.
Some do, not all, but some do. Those are a little more fortunate, and acres of drums. And they make as they're making these pieces, hand carved, each, you know, carving on each drum is individually different. No two drums are alike. And they've really developed the sound of that djembe drum. Yeah.
So speaking of drums, you have your drum right with you here.
Yes, half drum will travel.
Can you show people a little like what one of your classes might look like? How do you take someone who has absolutely no sense of rhythm and begin to teach them how to feel comfortable with a drum? Can you show how you might do that?
Yeah. Well, first, what I would do is I would share with them some knowledge or information about drumming, as well as about themselves and their heartbeat and the calling to the soul. Because a lot of times when people step up to drums that have never drummed before, it's like, you know, like, woo, I want to let you know, I don't have any rhythm and I've never played before, you know. And so I said, okay, fine. You can still drum. Okay, we'll see. So I give them very simple rhythms. Would you like for me to?
Absolutely.
Show? Okay.
Yeah, bring it on.
And the reason we do this is because the reason I love to sponsor these drum circles, if I could share for just a moment, please.
Please.
Okay, these drum circles is because in the Om zone, it's all about creating your own zone. You know, it's all about creating a vibration. The things that we market, that we sell, that we offer, that we invite, that we give are things that will enhance the rhythm of your soul, the rhythm of life. Not only do we sell drums, all different types of African drums, but we also sell all of the different percussion instruments, as well as we have
like shaker-rays,
cowbells, wood blocks, gourds, which shaker-rays, and other instruments, clavinets, and then we have a lot of bells, shakers, you know, things that tie around your ankles, tie around your waist, you know, noisemakers.
Yeah.
Tings, man.
Tings.
Yeah, a lot of things. And so what happens is, as I start to share with the people that, you know, drum circles are ancient. They've always used them for rites of passage. Our people, our ancestors, they've used them for celebrations, for purging, for spiritual purposes, for all types of purposes, for reasoning, for coming together and reasoning, for worship, for praise, you know. And so then therefore what we're doing is we're calling upon the one unity. The Om Zone calls upon the one God theory. The plane that we all are the same, the spiritual plane. And so the drums transcend barriers. Drums transcend color barriers, race, creed, all of that, you know. And so when the drums start playing, it doesn't matter, you know, it starts touching your soul. And so again, from that first beat, drum beat that we heard, which was our mother's heartbeat. And so as you share information like this and you get started, then people start to get a little confidence that, yeah, it's within me. It's within me. And it is. And so what we want to do is create platforms to bring that out. And so we give them some simple rhythms. And by giving simple rhythms, before you even do that, you have to show them and teach them what the drum is and how it's used and how to apply a strike. The djembe drum it's spelled D-J-E-M-B-E.
Right.
The djembe drum has three basic strikes: the bass, the tone, and the slap. The bass, the tone, and the slap. The tone and the slap are very similar. Bass, tone, slap. Slap has a little more crack, a little more pop to it. And so they go, okay, fine. So what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah.
So we go, okay, place both hands on the drums, and then I tell them basically, you know, teach them fundamentals of how to play a drum and how to engage mechanically and then switch into a creative side, physical into spiritual, as it were. You know, because we'll give them something simple, like let's say.
Yeah, tell me how you start somebody out. Just
Okay, you're in an actual class.
Yeah, how you
Okay.
actually show somebody how to move their hands on the drum.